One click. Nah, ruined. Oh, what's happening, guys? This time on Tokimotive, I'm actually going to do some proper Matsuri prep because I've kind of realised how scary close it's getting, and I haven't really looked over the car at all. I've just been like, drives, it's good. So, I got a mate around, we're going to start cracking in, check the plugs, all the basics like that, and yeah.
You might want to put an L in there before the T, Corey.
Heat check. Yeah.
What are they, Yaris foiled or something like that?
No, R35.
A nice kit.
That's actually burning really nice.
I'm not the retarded.
Much like it want to bet. So far, they're not looking bad. For a car that came off the dyno knock limited, and then I got it to the track and threw 4 degrees of timing at it. I expected to see green on the plugs. I expected it to be pinging its brain off, but so far it looks like it's actually going pretty good. So they all came up. They're all looking pretty consistent, so I'm pretty confident for this lead. Everything's looking pretty healthy. I didn't think there was anything really wrong with it. Due for an oil change, but
Just basic service stuff. It was an auto NA wagon owned by an old man and had rats living in the airbox. It's pretty solid.
it had good bones though, mate.
Little dude come in to say hello.
Hello, little friend.
Doink. It's a very compromising position you're in there, Corey. It'd be a shame if someone edited many things pointing at you.
Well, I can already do something that's not good.
Wow.
That happened really fast. That was not like that the last time I drove it.
Yeah, I'm glad we decided to do a thing. I'm loving the bulk lock. That looks like liquid coming out of the back of your steering rack.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Is it power steering or engine? What's it taste like, Corey?
I'm not tasting it. Well, it's not coming out of my max speeding rod's coilovers.
That bloody hay in your wheel is annoying the piss out of me.
This one?
Yeah. Don't throw it at me, mate. While we're here, explain your suspension setup.
Oh. More hay.
Because I'm sure it'd be an interesting topic. Everyone runs different suspension for different reasons, so what's yours for running what you've got?
It's cheap. But no, it's basic S13 conversion. I think they're R31 house brackets. I'm not sure, I got them off a mate, but they're an adapter caster arm bracket to run an S13 caster arm. I don't know what they are, but they're curved, so they give me the extra clearance. No sway bar because it'll hit it on lock, but because you've got coilovers, it doesn't really matter to have one anyway. I didn't even notice pulling it out. And I've got GK Tech roll center correction kit for the S13, which not exactly perfect for the 31, but it does the job. Puts the trailing wheel on some funny angles in photos you might have seen, but I'll eventually get wanker knuckles done for it. That'll also allow me to get rid of some of the camber that it's got because it's maxed out at the moment and I can't get rid of any more, and it's doing that.
Intriguing. Ball and pillow seems a bit loose.
I don't think it's that.
It's moving it, yeah. Oh. Well, Glad we did that, because that's loose. Might explain.
This is not the first time that's come loose, which means my whole alignment's probably out. No, everything's still tight from the
install.
correction. All in all, everything else is looking good. It's just loose coilover. 2 fingers well.
Oh, that's nearly 3 fingers. That's 3 fingers.
That's almost 3. I use highly accurate scientific measuring tools.
You're folding your finger. You're essentially getting 2 in there.
Doesn't matter if it's pointed or flat. It's still 3. I should use a tape measure.
We'll just call it 105 mil.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that it's actually 103, but 105 will do.
Couple mil between friends. I'm gonna call it close enough so
that's closer to 100, my friend.
110 to me.
See, men, always over exaggerating. Definitely in the realms of needing upgraded brakes, Corey.
So the dirt chunks going into Loctite, that helps.
Look, I've got to say it. That's not going anywhere.
Yeah, sure. That's kind of what I did last time. It'll be loose again in a month. Alright guys, so it's a couple of days later. I'm going to crack on with it myself. I've got to set the alignment. All I can really adjust here is toe, well, to measure anyway. So I got a couple of toe plates. I'll show you them when we do the alignment. There's a line going from the power steering reservoir down to the rack that I forgot about, and it's very heat damaged and it's fixing to split. Like, as it's a common fire in Skylines because they sit so close to the turbo manifold, they get cooked and perished over the years. Yeah, we'll do a service, change the oil on this thing. I picked up a set of new plugs. I was just kind of going to run the other ones, just give them a tidy up because it was running decent and they came out looking half alright, but no point missing track time for something silly like plugs. And as you guys will see, once I get to Matsuri, I am all for seat time. It's just hot lap after hot lap, flip the tyres around, go out again, run them till they near pop or pop, and then come back, rinse and repeat. I barely eat, I'm out on track all day. Enough rambling anyway. The plugs I got are already gapped down to 0.8. Lucky these don't have to be, but when I do gap them down, I prefer to get them in a set of multi-grips and grab them like that and just squish it down gently. Just one, I don't want to knock that in too far, and I don't want to be bending this in and out too much, because if you do that, you're going to make this brittle. And if that gets brittle and breaks off into your motor, it's most likely game over for it. So yeah, I'll go through, slap all these in. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is we've got this line here that runs from the, I guess it's an outlet of the rack, up into the reservoir, and that's obviously perished and cracked. So I'm gonna try and bend that hard line down a bit more towards the chassis rail and then run fresh line up there, and hopefully that'll keep it away from the heat, make it last a bit longer. I'll try and get rid of as much fluid out of this as I can so it's at least halfway fresh. And while I'm going, I'll drop the engine oil and get ready to pull the filter, all the rest of it like that, and just give it a nice little service. I'm going to jack the car up and crank the steering left to right. Hopefully that'll get out enough fluid that it'll be pretty fresh once I put new stuff in. Oh yeah, clean fingers club. Alright guys, for what I run in the wagon, being forged motor, turboed, drift car, just beaten on all the time, but the motor's pretty fresh internal wise. Always run a K&N filter, which I think they're probably a bit of a better filter. Ryco's probably really good as well, but I run these because they got the wrench off bit at the bottom. Because if you're like me, I've got an oil cooler and all the other stuff that runs along that side of the motor, pretty much everything. There's just next to no room to actually get in. So it makes it a hell of a lot easier if you can just put a ratchet up in there and get the first turn on it. A lot of the parts places you go to will say, won't recommend this one. They'll say it's not for an RB, but you look it up online and they're for RBs. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but the product code is HP 2008 and it's what I've run for the past few years, and it's always served me fine. I've suggested them to mates and it's worked fine on their cars as well. And 1060 weight oil in the Penrite 1010s. I figured there's no point cheaping out on oil, I may as well go high quality. And that's 1060 weights, what they run in all your big high horsepower GDRs, like your like Jet 32, stuff like that. They run a 1060 weight oil. Holds up under heat a lot better. Doesn't break down as quickly when you're really working the engine. I can't film up in there because it's obviously too tight, but I'll slap this filter up in there, put a bit of oil around the ring. What I'm going to do is I'll start it up, start to steer it left to right, lead that power steering up. One of the things if you would have noticed, I chucked cardboard under the wheels. That's so the wheels can turn with less friction, which is going to come in handy when I grab out the toe plates, because we're going to check the alignment quickly and then make adjustments if it's needed. Let's have a little bit of an education about toe plates, which if you're like myself and you're on a budget and you're always messing with the front of your car, basically all I did was I went to Bunnings, but most toe plates are made out of metal, but I was on a budget at the time and all I could really find sort of what I wanted was timber, and I thought that'll do for now. Obviously over time timber will warp, but I found a nice flat piece, cut it in half. What I do usually, I'd say just set it up for one car if you can, but I got a little mark where it sits on the rim. I measured and marked out the center point. You line that up with the center of your wheel, because if it's offset, it's going to make a difference to how it measures. You need to cut these in the exact same distance in, front and back, and you got to match it exactly on the other plate that sits on the other side, so you get an accurate measurement. And what you need is 2 tape measures the same. I just went for a cheap Stanley one, but I got 2 of these. I'll get it all set up and I'll show you what I do with it, and we'll see if this alignment's any good. The setup, because it's just a board, you got to make sure it's hard up against the face of your wheel, and when you put your tapes through, slot them along and then push them hard up against the face of the board and hard up against the edge of the slot. And then on the side that you're going to measure from, keep something weighted hard up against the wheel again, make sure it's properly centered. and you run your 2 tapes through. Let's see here, we've got about 1905 mil. On this side, we're closer to 1800. So that means it's towed out pretty severely. So I'll hang under there a little bit, crack the tie rods, and then we'll try and tweak it so that we can tow it back in a bit. And the thing I'll do, I'll adjust it on both sides because I know it's centered and I get equal lock left to right. So whatever I do on the left, I'll do on the right so that I don't change that balance, because I want to try and keep it fairly even. See, this one's about 3 mil back from the 1900, and on this side we're about 3 mil back from the 1900. Alright guys, also if you don't know of them already, go check out my boys over at Laka Garage. Great content, particularly if you're going to be driving QR Matsuri. They run a photography page, and a couple of good mates of mine. I'll link their Instagram and Facebook in the description below. Yeah, go give the boys some love. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for this time on Tokimotive. We got the oil change done, the health check's done, suspension check's done. I've realigned the front after tightening up that coilover, which it was quite towed out, so I'm going to say I didn't set it to the same height as it was, but it is what it is. It should be close enough. It doesn't take much height difference to throw out the alignment anyway. I fixed that power steering line, that's all done. Nothing's leaking. Taped up my terminals. In terms of that, it seems pretty well right to go. I'm kind of out of time for this weekend. It's Valentine's Day, stuff like that coming up. So I'm not gonna worry about checking underneath the back of it. I'll give it a quick check next weekend. Nothing felt off. I don't think there's anything to worry about. I had a look over it not long ago when I installed the adjustable panhard rod. If you watched through at the end, thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all the support I've been getting over the last few videos, and everything's been pretty positive, and I'm really happy about that. I'm loving what I'm doing. So if you like this video, I know it's mostly servicing and health checks and stuff like that, but still, if you enjoyed, hit that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe or hit that notification bell. I release videos every Wednesday morning. If you don't already have me on Instagram, it's just Tokimotive, and I hint towards future videos and post daily content on there. Any questions about what's happened here or anything you'd like to see in an upcoming video, feel free to leave it in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.